Hey everyone, I'm Nick, and welcome to your overview of Sync Logistics Training. Before we jump into the platform itself, I want to give a quick introduction on what Sync is all about. In a nutshell, Sync is a training platform for freight brokers. We've built out an LMS, learning management system, within which we're housing a ton of brokerage content. This includes text and video content, simulations, quizzes, and activities. And we're building this out for all of your major brokerage competencies. Things like industry knowledge, customer sales, carrier sales, pricing, and so on. We start with the introductory information for new hires. Then we progress through more advanced role-specific training, management training, and even personal professional development training. So there's a ton of content in here, which kind of begs the question of, why is this something you should care about? Why spend the time listening to this overview? Well, let's first just acknowledge that training is an area that's often overlooked in brokerage, and there are a lot of reasons for this. First off, it's time consuming. You don't want to take someone off the floor to do training, much less create training programs. There's also no immediate ROI, right? A training class today won't result in more loads on your board tomorrow. Training is just more of a long-term investment than that. Also, some people, typically your high performers, manage to do just fine without training, but those folks are the exception, not the rule. And then lastly, everything kind of seems fine, right? Lack of training doesn't seem like an issue until there's a problem. And then you realize that no one's been adequately trained to address that problem. Which leads into our next point, that training is actually super important and should be prioritized. Better training leads to a lot of things that every brokerage wants. Increased productivity. You want higher margins? Teach people how to negotiate better. It improves recruiting and retention. If you don't train your people, they will find what they need somewhere else. Training is also a huge factor in issue prevention. Think about the problems that pop up during day-to-day and ask how many of those could have been prevented with better trained reps. There are a ton of other reasons why training is important that I'm not going into in this video, but they do exist. So where does Sync fit in? Well, Sync's a training platform built specifically for the transportation industry. You're too busy? Cool. We have a library of training content and the ability to help you administer it. You need people on the floor? Great. Decrease your ramp times by giving people the training they need when they need it. You also need people continuing to book more freight at higher margins. So give them structured learning paths that are applicable throughout their career to help them continue to improve. At the end of the day, what we want is to help you train and retain more productive and engaged employees. So with that as background, let's jump into the platform itself. All right. This is Sync. Like I said earlier, we've built out our own LMS within which we're housing a ton of brokerage content. Here, you can see we have content built out for a ton of brokerage areas: account management, carrier sales, carrier operations, customer sales, and so on. As of today, we have about 80 courses built out, and we're continuing to add more every week. Now, if I jump into one of these courses, say a carrier operations one, you will see how we largely have them structured. All right, here you can see there's a short video introducing the topic, and then the course contents at the bottom. Now, I want to point out that it's broken into smaller components, and there's a reason for that. What we don't want to do is plug someone into a video for 30 minutes and say, here you go, watch your video and learn about this topic, because they're not going to do it, or they're just going to lose interest and not pay attention. Instead, each of our courses are broken into smaller chunks to make the information more digestible, as you can see down here. Now, if I click into one of these lessons, you'll see what the smaller components look like. All right, so there's always a video component, but these are 7 minutes or less, so no one's going to get bored sitting through a 30-minute video. This then is followed by text that reflects the highlights of the video. And then, more importantly, each lesson is going to include some sort of a knowledge check. Now, this might be a quiz or an activity, or in this case, it's a simulation. Again, these are here because we want to keep people engaged and moving, and we want them to actually be able to apply what they're learning. As a quick side note, these simulations are super interesting, but I'm just doing a quick overview in this video. So please do check out our other videos where we go through a simulation in more detail. All right, moving on to our group management tab. Here, I want to highlight the ability to create custom learning paths. It's really not enough just to say, here's a bunch of content in an LMS, good luck. There needs to be some sort of a plan available to folks. So we give you the ability to create custom learning paths for your people so they can continue to learn throughout their tenure at your company. This helps you add structure to your training and also gives you the flexibility to customize training for different individuals, different roles, experience levels, whatever you might need. And then finally on this screen, customers also have some reporting capabilities for their users, right? You can see at a high level who's completed what training. You can drill down deeper to see a more detailed report with information like course completion dates, quiz scores, and time spent in each course. That does it for my quick overview of Sync. We're currently onboarding new customers, so if you're interested, please email me at nick@synclogisticstraining.com or shoot me a message on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching.